G'day punters, welcome to the deep dive for another week. It was a huge weekend at Flemington, around the country, all that sort of good stuff, but we're here to talk about winners and losers, and I can safely say I think I won in play and that was about it at Flemington. Thank God for that track because it's so much easier to win there as opposed to anywhere else in the country. Am I right, Jack Dickens?
Oh, yes and no. We're going to get to Flemington later on, and I think one of my better ever bets that lost, we'll finish with probably. But it was a great day, great atmosphere. COVID doesn't exist anymore, at least at Flemington. My old man was a non-racing, non-betting spectator, was blown away by the relaxed atmosphere on course re-COVID. And but good to see they still heard you like refugees to have a dart, apparently. I'm off them, but there's more scrutiny on the dart smokers than any potential COVID cases at Flemington.
Yep. Far less likely to contaminate someone else with cigarettes. Apparently. Girls, it was another weekend up in Queensland. That's where we're going to start because there was a little bit of action there at Dalby, which I guess we should touch on first of all.
Yeah, well, we're recording this show at 9:15 on Monday morning, Queensland time. No stewards report from Dalby as yet. The only feedback that I can give is that, like, once again, we've launched into a horse that's, like, drifted dramatically very late on Betfair to miss the start 5 lengths, which is the difference between a winning and a losing day. Race 2, sorry. Horse 3, Papa Joe.
Okay.
Anyway, Papa Joe's no mug. He's won 8 from 24. Showed very good gate speed in winning this class many times before. Goes to Dalby, the only sort of horse in the race that's going any good. The horse that was backed into favouritism late was Piracy. Lo and behold, it's missed the start as well. Anyway, just a complete circus. Papa Joe's missed it a mile, and anyway, I don't know how it's got beat. Whatever, it's got beat. It's just that's the way it goes up here at the moment. I just keep finding these horses. Sick beats. Probably the highlight of Dalby would have been the DJ set afterwards.
What sort of gear was on rotation there?
Oh, she was sort of catering for the older crowd. There's a bit of an older crowd. Like I'm 29 this year, and there's a lot of people older than me there. Probably the John Darien pub on the way home and the 15 Sharpies before I got home, straight to bed. Sick day. Dalby, Gold Coast and Eagle Farm were good, but punting wise, but not a lot of real action to report on the track. Just like I said before, in the lead up, there's a big race meeting this weekend at the Gold Coast where it's a big dual day. So basically, it's like in Victoria, you have like Vobis, the Vobis Gold Day and that sort of thing, the big prize money day. Well, that's the Queensland equivalent this Saturday. So probably all the action, probably more interest off the track. Those that are on Twitter and social media would have probably received that Robert Heathcote post-race voice memo where he argued with Mark Duplessis for not leading on his horse and told him to get fucked and whatever else. And remember that he got a $500 fine. Half of it was suspended. Anyway, that wasn't good enough for Robbie. He's gone and appealed that sentence, and seen on the Kewney website this morning that the fine has been quashed, the fine, and got a reprimand instead. So I don't know why anyone would possibly waste their time for 250, but there you go. Follow up to that was quite one of those voicemails getting around Twitter. And the other thing probably worth mentioning was an article was written on RaceNet, never sort of said who it was aimed at, but it's pretty clear who it was, talking about race callers calling jockeys by their nicknames and saying there's no race for it, there's no place for it in racing. We got it again on Sunday with the colourful race caller Josh Fleming, who's a wonderful fella. very passionate racing man. He refers to jockeys by their nicknames in the run. So Shero and Wiggo and Pug and Soupy. Now, you blokes don't probably watch Queensland because you're not that sick. But for those watching at home, they've probably got no idea what the caller's saying. And then Bobby Alyssa kicked one home in the last at the Sunny Coast yesterday. And the villain's clear for the Bobstar. Ride that fish, the villain. So the Ride That Fish reference is to Bobby Alyssa's Instagram account. So I don't know. I don't know what people think. I don't know whether people care. But I'm going to follow it up with a bit of a Twitter poll after the show to see if anyone actually cares or what the go is there. But anyway, it's something that was spoken about on social media again last night. So
it would just be the filthy radio traders probably hate it, but everyone else wouldn't care less, surely.
I think the more flair a race caller brings, the better. Like, on Saturday we've got a gimmick race to promote racing that they paid thousands to advertise to get new eyeballs on different platforms.
Mm.
It's the same thing. It's a new product. Like, it's entertaining. Like if TV's calling, everyone's talking.
Well, they are talking about TV.
And if Josh Fleming's calling, now it sounds like everyone out there's talking. I've banned myself from watching that stuff for my own mental health, and I lapsed yesterday and watched a bit of Western Australian racing, and I've banned that too. So I'm going to have a much better lifestyle balance. I'm just going to only watch Victorian races that I've bet on myself, and then I'm just going to bet your stuff and just see what happens. Does the chat group light up post-race? Well, that might mean I've got a little bit of an earn out of it. If it doesn't, then I know what happened, but I just don't need to watch either of them. Some of the stuff that Peter cops, it's beyond sickening. And then to top it off early this week, which we're not going to talk about too much, but how there was nothing found in the inquiry into the team riding last week is just beyond me. Like, I complain about the stewards here sometimes, but
it's probably a debate for another day. But it's sort of borderline. Who's got I don't know whether the right word is the worst bunch of jockeys that ride on a Saturday. It's either Sydney or Perth. But Perth is sickening some days, watching them for sure. Makes me feel good about Queensland. Queensland jockeys on a Saturday are pretty strong, Metro. But the race calling one I'll follow up with a poll or something, I think, because is it about entertainment or is it about accuracy?
Entertainment.
Like, we've got a race caller up here, Brett Moody, who calls out west. A couple of his famous lines are, like, if a horse is 3 wide, he's either the bird on the Bicky tin or he's working harder than a mosquito at a mannequin factory. I find that entertaining and soothing when you're on that horse and you know you're cast.
Yeah, that's good. Like,
yeah,
I think I don't really listen to it, to be honest. But I find it. My ears prick up if Matt Hill says snick or something like that. Or I love it when TV just declares something like way before the corner. I love that stuff.
I love when he declared one Friday night. It was third off the bit hanging, and he's called it measuring up to the leader and about to go straight on by. It's dropped out and ran third, and the leader's kicked and won. Great.
He's a great
anyway, taking up too much time already. I'll throw you one out wide. Golly Hutt was a big performance on Saturday. It can improve and run a race.
Okay.
All right. Very good. One for the Queensland followers there. Let's move to Flemington, and we'll start with the Newmarket, which I think probably had the most interest of all of the card. I think it was the most competitive race, despite the fact you had September Run, who really the market didn't come for on the day. But
firstly, well done to you. You tipped the winner.
Zatori. That was a good old-fashioned Rob Scurry-esque. I like this horse outparaded first up. It had more improvement to come, and I backed it, so I'm going to follow up. That had a good track distance figure as well, previous prep, which was in a lesser race. I think it was a Group 2 off the top of my head, maybe even a Group 3, but...
Which in hindsight it didn't even need.
No.
Because the time he's average for a Group 1, this was a very frustrating race for us. And then when you look at I was heavily with September Run, and then when you look at the data, I don't think we've learnt anything. Like, if that horse slightly improved if it continued its trajectory which it was on, it wins. But that same could be said for a lot of these. And to add to the pain, it paraded, I thought, awful, which we said in the text. But even with a big sort of pen from the yard, it still was a big over for me on my prices, which I was wrong. But that's how I handled the race from the yard. And like to add to the grey was that Zutori was very, very good, and Indian Pacific had notably improved.
Yeah.
And Peter and I were like both aligned on our view there. So like, I'm happy for Simon Zara and Matty Ellerton. Good on him. Luke Curry, it's a pretty big effort. Like I thought he was riding pretty average when he came back from his bad injury. Through 2 Group 1s now. Flying. Well done to him. I thought Prague was a good run in this race. Don't know where they head with it, but I thought it went pretty well. Brooklyn Hustle's just a same story every start. And I actually read a thing on, I don't know if it was racing.com or where, but I think it was racing.com. And Willie Pike just completely owned the horse's performance. Said I got it wrong. It was very, very refreshing. Like, he took responsibility for the horse's performance. It's no wonder people wanted to ride for him. I think he's riding. I'm fully on Willie Pike's team now whilst he's in Victoria. I think he's riding outstanding.
Yeah, he looks like he's come back. He's just riding as if his last 3 months have just been that Caulfield Guineas Day. He's just in that zone straight away.
But for mine, it's like his go-to spot was like 4 pairs back, 1 off.
Yeah.
Last time he was here. Now he wants to be 2 pairs back, 1 off. And that slight adjustment, which is just what I think he's done, I don't know, is making a lot of difference. He's putting all his horses right into the race.
Just on September Run, I was thinking about it afterwards, and I think I described her as we were leaving the yard. She looked like an MMA fighter, and I almost should have said she looked like Ronda Rousey right before she got knocked out within 30 seconds. It was that big...
Yeah, but you were half... Like, well, you were quite horned up for the parade. I hated it.
Oh, I couldn't back her.
But it's like how you'll like a parade of like a really fierce horse that I don't like, and often you're right.
Yeah.
But I think it was a sign that she was going to... There's a good chance she wasn't going to perform, in hindsight.
I guess the other thing, I haven't got a proper... that was more going off the physicality. Like, just, she's strengthened up. She's like a real proper beast of a horse. Like, she was basically the same size as, some of the bigger horses in that event. Serious Suspect is a huge horse, and she was basically just monstering him. But
I think you can follow her, though. Like,
yeah.
Mustad SP, it can improve with the parade. When you watched it live, I did get a bit of it out straight away. Like when she jumps, she just copped a huge hip and shoulder right in the gut from maybe stand out. And then for the first 600 metres, they were just fucking around jostling for position. Neither horse in a rhythm. And then it backs up how slow they went in hindsight. But she copped a big knock at the start, which was not ideal.
Well, the other thing was that all the place getters settled on more towards the middle of the track. You had all these horses trying to go wide towards the grandstand side, but really all the dominant figures in the finish of the race were the ones that sort of split off at the start and just had their own little group.
I was debating this with the trainer. I call the rail like where the post is, the finishing post, the inside down the straight, and the outside's the grandstand side. Is that right?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, when I'm talking about straight races, the inside is the normal inside rails and run.
Yeah.
Outside's grandstand from now on.
Yeah, and if you've got a different view, get stuffed. Like, learn orientation. But no, that was a great ride by Brad Parnham as well in Indian Pacific. I have to mention that. Like, he's just set a really fast tempo. He knows the horse he's got underneath him. Capitalised on that straight experience that they had first up in Victoria. That's an outstanding performance by that horse. And it basically just justified the West horses. Like, they're performing obviously to a really high level over here.
And so September Run, Peter, also had a slow recovery in the Stewards report, which I'm just reading for the first time now.
Curls, what do you think about slow recovery? I always look at slow recovery and think that's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree. If we've got like a slow recovery in isolation is irrelevant. I think you need to know more than that.
Yep.
Did you want to see how I pulled up yesterday?
I thought
I had no mucus. I had no heart arrhythmia. I had no just slow recovery. Because you know why I was slow to recover? Because I put in.
Love it.
I thought Flit was good too, actually.
Yeah, we did have a question from Crookie, I think it was, on Flit.
I think she was good, or he was good. I think it's a she.
Yeah.
And can find more suitable races. Like has won Sydney Way, goes well Melbourne Way. That was straight. I thought it was one of the more sort of that was fresh that run. So paraded really nice though, didn't it, Peter?
Yeah. Yeah.
We almost sent out like a reverse mounting yard mail for this race, Curls. Was just going to give like 4 of the worst because they're all fucking pretty good, you know.
And meanwhile there was that money for imaging as well, which is interesting. The horse did parade pretty well, and I know Waller actually threw it out and was interested to see how it went down the straight for the first time. But geez, it started short.
Yeah.
So again, that's one I'm almost going to be following wherever it goes next start, with a view to it's obviously in good nick. So.
And I thought Dallas disappointed off the. I think a few horses here showed themselves up. Not so much Dallas, but this Bold Star is just a fresh horse at Caulfield. I'm never going to look at it unless it's fresh at Caulfield. It ran that enormous figure. We backed it at good odds and it just missed.
Yeah.
Beaten by Prophet's Thumb. But since then it's just regressed again. Did it last time.
What are we talking about the lanes here? I noticed in an earlier straight race on the day, they sort of all went to track Y. I think it was race 4, was it?
Yeah.
That Mar Busher race. They all sort of originally went to track sort of, grandstand side of middle, and then by the time that they've got, to the 200 or 300, they're coming back toward the inside a bit more. I don't know whether the horses sort of naturally wanted to roll in a little bit or what, but a little bit the same here. They're probably a bit not really, a bit wider here probably than what they were in race 4. So if you have a look where the winner and second horse have ended up in run, like lanes-wise, there's not many horses wider than them. And there's big margins there. So I don't know,
Well, I think the inside's...
I
don't know why, but the inside is clearly superior for mine in this race. But it's a very hard race to worry about these things to the next start, It's all about setup in these sprint races. And there's a lot of horses that weren't suited here that'll go to like a Moonee Valley or a Caulfield and won't be suited there either because they get back. So I thought Swat's that was really good too. But yeah, Amish Boy running third, 50 to 1 up the inside. I think that gives away that there's, for whatever reason, a slight advantage to be on the inside half of that straight race.
Yeah, I think it's either the lanes or the fact that they were actually just running at a faster tempo on the inside and the rest of them would just sit sprinting on the outside and just cause chaos. It's probably a little bit of both, to be honest. All right, let's move to the Australian Cup, the other feature on the card, because...
honest to God. We're in front headed to this race.
Yeah.
I've taken an early position on 50 stars at $4 and 80 cents maybe. It was $3.70 hard the fare. Hard. And jumped okay. 0 and 10. Fall back the fence. That's an awful position for John Allen as a rider. That's where he does his worst work. And he's a very good rider. And it's an awful position for this horse. It doesn't like to be created. I could not believe it. I don't know what Matt Hill was doing because Peter wouldn't have heard it either because I was commentating this race in the run and I was fuming from the very, very start. It's got enormous 50 stars. 480, great bet. Awful ride. Forgive the horse. I think that's about it for that horse. Nothing more to say. Peter backed Homesman.
He did.
And you should have seen it, Curls. He fucking roared. He roared because Matt Hill... I think Matt Hill was half letting the pencil stuff to try and get out that beautiful line, which he would have prepared earlier. And it got Peter going. He was roaring. I said, mate, it's not clear cut. Stay calm. Have you got a result best of days? And he's like, nah. Should have seen the red turned to white on his face. But he got there in the end. Good bet, Peter. It did get out to a backable price on my prices very late. I missed that in the sort of in the chaos, which wasn't helped by those. And shout out to the young lads who were the rowdiest human beings I've ever seen in the Flemington members. We were quite like my dad was pretty shocked by their behaviour early on, but by race 8 and after their sort of 12th schooner decided to come up and how you going, boys? I love the show.
It was bloody great.
It's good to see our audience is all those young kids, so it's good.
So so there was a lot of declarations around pre-race for the two faves on the two big races.
Yeah.
September run and 50 stars. Like, what are we doing with 50 stars here? It's gone as good as what it did last start.
Yeah.
But just the wrong setup.
Wrong setup. And when he just dropped that pair back, which doesn't look too bad, like at the 1400, but then when they enter the straight, he's basically like second last with no momentum, getting flushed out the back of the surf. It's an awful setup for any horse, particularly a stayer. He's got through the line great. If there's another race on the agenda and he parades well again, then I think he's a bet. But this probably was grand final race, so I don't know what to do with it.
You sort of wonder, like, if you look at it from a stable, like, owner, trainer point of view, do you say, geez, he was stiff there, we might as well go to Sydney, and does it become an afterthought?
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, I don't know. See.
I just thought, Miss Siska, Mick D completely handled John Allen early in the race, if you watch the replay. Like, he should have kicked up and got that spot behind Parati, who was well backed. We also backed Parati late.
Yeah.
Who, fuck me, I thought was going to win.
Very short
good
top
ride,
of the
Willow,
straight.
got squeezed late. The horse should have run third. But just allowing like $100 shot to sit in front of you as the favourite in the Group 1 is just bad riding anywhere. And Miss Siska's dropped out and run last. It's just more whitewash for John to get around and to find rhythm and run. And Chapada was 3 wide cover. Holmesden was 3 wide cast.
Yeah, isn't that the problem with this race? Like the winner was basically $40 jumping. It was 3 wide, no cover throughout, and still too strong for all these horses. Like, surely you just pen almost all of them.
It's a big issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think there's a horse here though that's just needs to find the right setup, and it's a huge bet. You're probably not going to get a big price though because it was so obvious. But Miami Bound has gone fucking enormous.
She looked really good pre-race as well. Like, I had something on.
Badly not suited race shape, and very badly, like not badly, but we know improves on a soft to a wet track. I think you can stamp her big time out of the race. But like, and this is how hard the game is. Like, Luke Curry completely slaughtered nonconformist. Like, it jumped from barrier 16, which is always going to be difficult, but it was 4 wide.
Yeah.
Poor thing. Warning, shithouse. Miss Siska, shithouse. Humidor, not himself. But once you get past nonconformist and Humidor, Platoon sort of loomed to run into the race and just sort of gave out late. But nothing really ran on that wide all day. Makes no sense, but it's what happened. Even Star Earl in the last, which is the only horse all day to win from worse than midfield in any race, but I'll focus circle and straight races their own thing. It still weaved up the inside, and Willow peeled out well within the straight. These horses that were wide cornering, 4 or wider, they weren't in any race all day.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what typically you would expect to happen on most tracks. They're on the firmer side of the, it was, in the end it was upgraded to a good 3, but they were running some pretty fast overall races there towards the end of the card, and it's just the fastest way home.
Yeah, I thought Defibrillate ran huge too, and that San Herberto, very good. Dan Yendall rode really well on Saturday.
Yeah, that ride on Marbusha. Oh.
Holy shit. Like, that was just lead in the pencil stuff from a long way out. And there was some absolute, fills in run there just to better your positions on Saturday. Like, that thing was bigger than SP whilst he was just trucking. And probably the biggest fill all day was, I don't know if you saw it, Curls, but Sovereign Award was just, in a rhythm. And it was $2 better than SP, most of the way home.
I guess visually it looked like it was going too fast, but that's visual versus reality.
That was a bad mistake by me there, wasn't it, Peter? We went to the yard with only two bettable options because we were convinced it was on pace suited. It was Fasino and Sovereign Award. Facino did parade outstanding. Was clearly the best horse in the yard.
Cancino, not Facino.
Yeah, Cancino, sorry. But it missed the kick, and then therefore it was, worse than midfield. I was fucking sick of myself for not just having a unit on this thing. Fuck. Anyway.
Interesting on the tempo of that race versus the last, because D Lane was leading on both.
I'll give you I'm going to start on this one before Jack gets involved here, because I can give you a bit of outsider view, if you like. We go into the last?
Yeah.
So I've watched this replay a number of times. Now, that horse was travelling strongly, the leader. It did begin, and it did travel strong. The steward's report did say over raced, I think. You've got it there, Jack, but I'm pretty sure it did.
I'll have a read while you have a waffle.
The horse did travel strong. It sort of it didn't really look to come back underneath him at all. But the punting form data says they've gone 20 lengths or something. Suicidal speed. Now, the cynic in me says the winner's last, who's the stablemate. And the ride of the horse outside the leader, I think was Jay Carr, chased that mad speed. It was absolutely horrific. You'd be absolutely sick on it. The horse, the lead, you'd be definitely asking questions, any reason why you're chasing a hot speed the entire Australia's favourite jockey.
And if she didn't chase the hot speed too, it's set up for the perfect rebuttal to D Lane bagging her right on Buffalo River the previous week.
So I think that the Yes Baby Yes has gone enormous. Exposed on a hot speed outside the leader, still beat half the field. I know it got beat a margin, but if it actually recovers, this horse has had 13 starts since May last year, and has had a run just about every month since. So the horse is clearly, going well, and might have earned a break. Having a look at its setup, talking about Yes Baby Yes. So that makes Chica Fuerte and Personal also gone big on the clock.
I don't think big does them justice.
No, and the ride on the winner was completely elite. Rides it any other way, it doesn't win. He had it on the bridle, sucking up the whole way. Somehow found his way onto the back of Chica Fuerte before he's let the horse out. Entitled to go straight past them, Star Elf, and the work they've done up front.
Yeah, I thought there was they've gone too quick to be clear and confident in any view here, but it was chinky the way Star Elf stopped. But they've gone so fast that it's justified as well. Elite riding, Willow, fuck me. And just utter torture. Chica Fuerte, we launched at this, so we're normally betting to win 8 or 9 units max. I think I bet to win 19 units here. It was a proper parade. I had it much shorter than the market before the yard. It was going to get the right run, which it still did despite the good tempo. I'm still a bit down about it. It's an enormous swing for me personally, financially, so big. And now you got to be careful with all these horses coming out of this really, really fast race. So you can't just go following your money to get it back here with any of these, in my opinion. And I thought I just want to defend Personal, the horse. It copped some grief on Twitter after this race, that it thinks about it and it stops, and it's gone so fucking quick, so quick.
Only 12
and
links.
Again on the line, it wasn't told to completely stop. It was a huge performance. It's a little bit and we were guilty of it, I think, before the data came out with the other Hayes horse. They're running Australian Guineas. ASAR. There's lots of it to go here in the office. just like completely torturous. And I don't bet each way and all that shit. But like in hindsight, what price is Chica Fuerte? It's $5, $4 chance, which is what I marked it. Just fucking one time pay me. It's been a while between drinks for these big fat results, I'll tell you.
As you said, with personal, it's gone 12 lengths faster to the 600, jumping up 200 metres, second up this prep. 12 lengths faster compared with what it did first up. Significant. But you've both made a great point. Whether or not these horses back up, we saw it in the Bunbury Cup and Bunbury Stakes with my horse Montalena and then last of the line. They've gone significantly quicker to the 600 than they've ever gone in their life before. You just have no idea, and especially if they're backing up over 2 weeks, they need the right tempo next start, which is always a big query. So it's a really tricky race.
Personals run the third fastest last 200 metres of this race.
Yeah.
That's like the dot point to justify that it's got ticker.
Oh, if you're in the top 3, you've got ticker.
Just sick to like... It looked at the top of the straight like, oh, we're going to run an enormous race here and just run second to personal. Then to beat it, but get bobbed by it. I'm pretty sure Ciurleo was a maiden. Yes, it was. To get done by a maiden, like a horse that his previous peak figure was a 6.2, it has now run a 16.7. Like, Winks, fuck me. Just utterly torturous. Do think worth noting that Ciurleo does relish running at Flemington. So not only be very careful of all these horses next start, but doubly careful of Ciurleo, which will start very short at probably like a Caulfield or wherever. And it just doesn't run this as well there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I just hate Ciurleo. I just hate it. Because I backed it at 40s to beat fucking Thermosphere at Flemington in the Edward Manifold, and it loomed and just missed too there. So it's just... Yeah. It's a big swing horse for me, and it's never gone the right way. I don't hate it. I love it. It's a good horse.
All right. Very good. Do you have one from the meeting that you'll throw out to follow?
I think Mar Bush is a beast. Really happy with that bet. I think Ana Visto should have won race 2.
Yeah.
With any luck, it does. That was a big performance. It can be followed. Readily available in race 4, obvious, but like it has absolutely hooned to the line in probably inferior ground. And I think Chapada did more than enough outside of Miami Bound in that race.
All right, beautiful. Week ahead, All-Star Mile at the Valley.
Yeah.
Fair bit going on. Not sure the rest of the card's going to be that good, but also we'll wait and see. Just on face value, looking at the races.
Yeah, look, there might be a maiden we're going to bet into tomorrow at Ballarat. We'll get the whole meeting done at Sandown, Manningo Mail. We'll look at the maidens mainly, Kilmore and Pakenham and Cranbourne. Don't know if I'll go to Cranbourne or not. Yeah, then the big Valley meeting. That's my week.
Cranny's got that tri-code meeting, doesn't it? Isn't that this week where you've got the trots and the dogs as well?
Oh, God. So, yeah.
Try your hand at mounting yard mail across all 3, Dickens. Lift. You know the people want it.
With the binos from the Trios bar. Well, hang on. The 5 dogs just took a shit. That might be good. Who trains it?
No comment. Kels, what do you got ahead?
Eagle Farm Wednesday, which will be lovely. Friday is going to be a real test of character for me because the last 3 meetings that I've done at tracks that I traditionally win at.
Can I just ask about just with tested character and like the yo-yo that is your head, and I resonate with it so well because it circles the same orbit as me. What happened with the Dalby tweeting? Because Simo's fascinated, and it's like basically a viewer question.
The Dalby tweeting about
never again.
Well, I discussed I thought it was a one-off the other day. I said this on the show last week about the best horse in the race but like just got bad jockeys that don't have, it's the fourth tier meeting on a Saturday, right? So we haven't got the most experienced jockeys on these horses. So is the best horse in the race, does an actual best horse in the race exist? Is that like, I'd done me complete bollocks on a race there Saturday where I've got two horses. One horse got beat 2 lengths in a Remorny handicap 4 starts ago, now at a better trainer. The other horse has been beaten a length Magic Millions Day against like listed grade horses. They flop out to Dalby in an open 1400, pitched in with 59 kilos against Yaks, right? They settle second last and last 15 lengths off the leaders for no reason. They're sitting on it like statues. Meanwhile, the heavily backed Kia van, 15-year-old gelding having start 473, completely off the map and trots in. The toys had gone out of the cot, well and truly. Like, why am I going to these shithole joints?
I don't know. I keep telling you not to.
So this week I'm going to Eagle Farm Wednesday, where I'll win, just like I have the other midweek meetings for the last 100 years, because there's better horses and better trainers and better jockeys.
Hang on. No, on a professional, on a proper topic, which we should talk about. I'm convinced we all win on Wednesdays because we get this review done and a good vent, and then we cruise like Monday arvo, Tuesday morning, work our way through the midweek card with no pressure time-wise. You're fresh and clear, and then you get into the meeting. Whereas the Saturday, Sunday meetings, Friday nights, you're just starting to jam a shitload of work into the, like, you're doing 40 other things. We're doing content. We're doing everything. You might have gone to Kilmore or whatever. Like you've done a stack of, when you had those Thursday meetings, Curls, Pete, you've always got a Thursday meeting. Do you not think there must be something in just working too much affects your result on a weekend?
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, maybe it's something I need to look into. I've been doing it for long enough to know that, like, I was making money at these tracks, and like this week, like I said, I've got Eagle Farm Wednesday. Then Friday, I've got Gatton, which I'm normally like salivating over, on Friday afternoon. All up Sunny Coast Friday night, and then Gold Coast, Ipswich, Rockhampton, Toowoomba Saturday, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast Sunday. So, you just got to have to probably just let some go. And I suppose all I do is the same as everyone else. Probably you've got your reviews, your black books, your horses to follow. Then you've got to line them up in the races they're in to see if it's still a bet. I don't know. I know what you're saying, though.
I think you're staying in it. I'm going to try and sort of take the foot off towards the back of the week, just to focus on. Like I think we won. I won for the week. I lost small on Saturday, but obviously that big bet Shika Fuerte over 50 stars. I was really happy with the prices, and I took it much easier on the Cranbourne and maybe it was Stall on Friday. Just like did them real brief, focused on the maidens, which was another sick beat. We took fucking $8 that first starter that started $3 and ran second.
They're everywhere. I'll do one meeting this week. I'll do one meeting Friday. I won't, and just see if it makes a difference. We'll just have a look for the exercise. There's Gatton Friday Arvo and Sunshine Coast Friday night. So I'll choose one.
I'm a big chance to get a week off to a winning start though. I'm debuting in the comp at the golf club this afternoon off 28.
Absolute pirate behaviour.
I don't even know what that means. So,
I think I should be off about 20. It's a hard golf course, but you had to put in your cards, and the first few cards I had post COVID was rank. Like if I put the first tee shot into like the bushland, reloaded my third into a creek. Like just filthy behaviour. But yeah, I should go well.
All right, sounds good. Guys, thank you as always. We'll be back on a Thursday for a preview of the All-Star Mile, otherwise known as the ASM, just to try and make it sound a little bit filthy.